Welcome heroes, legends, and warriors of Sanctuary. My name is Omni and I am your guide to Diablo Immortal. In today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the strongest builds in the game. This build is so incredibly strong and can be used at any resonance. I will be using 4,000 resonance. However, you can be 1,000 resonance. You can be 2,000 resonance. Or, you could be high resonance. This build works for any resonance and is very, very strong. Because you can stay invincible while dealing damage. The way you stay invincible is using Wraith form. And a key component for this build is doing Eternal Gear runs. So you want to do your Terror Rifts, and you do want to do your Hailslayer bounties and Oblivion Pillars. And get the Eternal Gear that modifies and shortens the cooldown of Wraith form when you move. I am using only one piece of that Wraith form Eternal Gear, and it still works. Alright, but I've seen people who have 4 pieces. Alright, people who have done 4 pieces of that Eternal Gear, and you can stay in Wraith form for so very long. For about like 70% of the time, you're going to be in Wraith form. And during your Wraith form, you are invincible. So all you gotta do, you can go in, you can attack the enemies, and all you gotta do is get out before your Wraith form comes out. But you have to always be moving. Always be moving, because the farther you move, the Eternal Gear will reduce the cooldown of your Wraith form. Also, finally, you can use Proximal Fear Pants. The Proximal Fear Pants makes it so that when I Wraith form into an enemy, it fears them. And the fear works so good with Chip of Stone Flesh. So if you have a Chip of Stone Flesh, absolutely use Proximal Fear Pants. Extremely good, extremely good. At the end of this video, I will tell you the whole entire build. So just hang on for like 2 or 3 more minutes, and I'll show you exactly what to use. There is another Eternal Gear, which is the Corpse Lance Eternal Gear, and after I tested it, with just 1 or 2 pieces of Corpse Lance Eternal Gear, I wasn't getting a speed boost. And only after 3 pieces of Corpse Lance Eternal Gear I only got 6% speed boost instead of 10%. So I would not recommend Corpse Lance Eternal Gear. Just be sure to get as many Wraith form Eternal Gear as you possibly can. The power of this build surrounds the ability to stay in Wraith form for about 70% of the time that you're alive. And while you're in Wraith form, your Grim Scythe, the 2 red scythes that spins around you, is still dealing damage. The Corpse Lances that are spinning around you are also dealing a ton of damage. You see, right now I'm in Wraith form, and I'm just obliterating everything that's around me, and they can't do anything. They can't do anything to me because I am invincible. Once I get out of Wraith form, and it's because you're diving 2 or 3 players, you might die. However, you do have borrowed time. So with the borrowed time, even after you die, just make sure one of the 3 people that you attacked also dies. And borrowed time won't kill you. So it's a very, very strong, incredibly strong build. And there we go. Very, 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 very fast, very, very strong build. You just, I do recommend, in order to optimize this ability, you do want to make sure, keep an eye on that mini-map. And when an enemy is coming towards you, I like to greet them with the Wraith form. I like to greet any enemies coming towards me with a fear in their face. So, yeah, part of the skill for this build is to have corpses ready on the ground. So for your Corpse Lance, you need about 5 corpses to have the biggest circle of Corpse Lances. And then you just know when to use your Wraith form and when to disengage so that you stay alive. Alright, right now we're going to go into the Legendaries for this build. Gate Fist Helm. Gate Fist Helm makes it so that your enemies take up to 32% more damage. Very, very good. As long as you are hitting them with Grim Scythe, the Gate Fist Helm will allow you to deal about 30% more damage to them. And you will want to try to get 4 pieces of Eternal Gear that makes your Wraith form last longer. But yeah, so Grim Scythe slices through enemy's armor, increasing damage taken by 11% for 6 seconds. Now, that's a long time. Your whole fight may be over in 6 seconds. And up to a maximum of 34%. So all damage that you deal, up to 34% more damage. Next, you will want the Defiling Swarm main hand. Defiling Swarm main hand makes it so that you have 2 scythes that orbit around you, and when you hit your enemies, it does generate corpses. The more corpses you have, the more damage you can deal. The size of your Corpse Lance, the more damage your Corpse Lances do, depends on how many corpses you eat. Next, you want to use Gallowsborn Chest Piece. The Gallowsborn Chest Piece will generate corpses on the ground when you Wraith form. When there is no one to hit with your Grim Scythe, you can just use your Wraith form to generate 6 or 7 corpses on the ground so that you have Corpse Lance ready when enemies engage. Next, we have Pants. Proximal Fear Pants. Proximal Fear Pants is my favorite because it allows you to fear your enemies with your Wraith form, and does a ton of damage if you also have a Chip of Stone Flesh. So I really like Proximal Fear. It also makes it a very good way for escape. If your enemies are trying to finish you off, or if you're trying to engage with your Wraith form, that extra second of fear is incredible. And after that second of fear goes off, and if you have a Chip of Stone Flesh, they do take an insane 450% damage from the Chip of Stone Flesh. The next main hand you want will be called Stroke of Midnight. Stroke of Midnight makes it so that your Wraith form comes back quicker. It gives you up to 1.5 seconds of cooldown reduction to your Wraith form, so extremely important. Oh, right here shows you what Chip of Stone Flesh does. So when you fear an enemy, it inflicts a curse where during that time that's feared, enemy can take up to 450% more damage. So during that time, you are going to be hitting them with your Grim Scythe, your Corpse Lance, and your normal attack. So at the end of when they are unfeared, they take incredible damage, and hopefully they're dead. But yeah, Stroke of Midnight, absolutely necessary so that you can be in Wraith form as soon as possible and be invincible during that time. Making this, there used to be a battle mage build, right? This is, in my opinion, a battle necromancer build. So your close range necromancer battle mage, incredibly strong. So the offhand that we need is called Departed Appetite. Departed Appetite makes your Corpse Lances spin all around you. Once again, if you want more Corpse Lances, you need more corpses. So with about 5 corpses, you can get your you can get your Corpse Lance circle a lot bigger than if you only have 1 or 2 corpses. The other offhand you want is Spite Fetter. With Spite Fetter, so far now has a 25% chance to explode on hit, dealing damage to nearby enemies and causing them to burn. So the other offhand will be Spite Fetter, and you'll be using Soulfire for this build. The shoulders that you want is Flames of Forever. This makes it so that your borrowed time gives you extra crit chance. Crit is perhaps one of the strongest damage abilities, so yeah, absolutely. Flame of Forever for your shoulders. It also, if you have awakened your gear, it also reduces the cooldown of your borrowed time, which is very important. The curse set I recommend is Detested. So you want a 6 set of Detested. I am using 6-piece Atrophied, but that's just because I haven't swapped to Detested. You need to use Detested. Every time you fear your enemies with your Wraith form, it has a chance of dropping a circle beneath them, causing them to take more damage. It is an incredible 6-piece set. Definitely use Detested, not Atrophied. Detested. For your green sets, I recommend a 4 set of Augments. You want 4 set of Augments. This will allow you a lot more damage. Dots, every time you hit them, they get burns. Also, you want 2 set of Vithu's Urges. 2 set of Vithu's Urges, which will make your Wraith form longer. You want your Wraith form to be 30% longer. And finally, a 2 set of Feasting Barons. This will make all your damage over time skills, all your poison, all of your burns from your augments to last 30% longer. So a 2 set of Vithus, a 2 set of Feasting Barons, and a 4 set of augments. You can also use 2 Vithus and 6 Banquet. Lastly, let's talk about the Paragon. The Paragons you will want to use is Gladiator. You will want to use First Aid in conjunction with Combat Veteran. This makes it so that your First Aid will heal yourself by 15% every 180 seconds. You pair that with Cheat Death that brings you back to life every 210 seconds. And don't forget, you have Borrowed Time. You also have a Save Your Pet. I forgot to say, you do want to save your pet. You have 4 forms of Cheat Death right there. You will never die. Finally, you want Grizzled Veteran for 4% extra damage, 4% damage reduction, and you want Overpowered. Overpowered gives you 3% crit for every enemy you defeat. So if you defeat 5 enemies, you get 15% extra crit for the rest of the match or until you die. So that's why we have so many forms of Cheat Death, so you never actually die, and you will have that 15% crit chance for the entire match. Next, you want Benefactor. There you have it. Now you know everything about the Spin to Win Necromancer of Death build. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.